So I wanted to make a quick video about the way that Resolve incorrectly interprets a speed change from an XML. Hopefully this will save a lot of you some time in your conform process. So on the left side, I have my offline reference video. On the right side, I have my online timeline. You can see that these frames are matching. A different swipe shows you that everything is correctly aligned. If I go to the end of this clip, you can see the offline reference video and the online timeline no longer align. And if we take a closer look at this clip here in the inspector, we can see that the speed change is 248.92%, which is a really odd number to see. And what I started to look into was what was the frames per second of the original source clip and what is Resolve trying to display that clip as in the online timeline. So a quick way to find it in your media pool is just right-click, find a media pool, and then you can see your frames per second here, 119.88. If you divide that by 2, roughly, or multiply it by 50%, you get a 59.681 frames per second. So the editor initially put the speed as a 50% speed change in their NLE, but then when the XML was created, all the XML looks at is the frames per second. It's saying I need to go from a 23.98 timeline to a 60 frames per second roughly clip. And to do that, I have to multiply the speed by basically 2.5 times. But if the editor wanted it at 50% speed, then we need to put in 50% speed. So when I do that, and then I come to the end of the clip, which it takes it a second, and then I put on a different swipe, you can see it's now aligned correctly and the frames match up correctly. So basically what you have to do is ignore whatever speed change was in there initially, come over to find in media pool, find your source frames per second, find the target frames per second, and divide your source frames per second by your target frames per second. 120 basically divided by this was originally 60 is basically a 50% speed. So if you put in 50% speed, that's what the editor originally had it as, and everything will align correctly. Hopefully that's not too confusing, and hopefully that saves a lot of you some time in your conform process.